Hey guys, it's Christian, and today I'm going to show you my absolute favorite whiteboard app, Excalidraw. Because under nearly every video that I publish on YouTube, somebody asks what tool I'm using to create these hand-drawn style visualizations. So I thought, why not make a quick video about it and show you some tips and tricks to create stunning hand-drawn style graphics, quickly visualize ideas, or even create technical diagrams and presentations. The cool thing is, you don't even need a tablet, you don't even need a pen. This works entirely from any iPad. This works entirely from any device since it is a simple web application, and the best, it's free and open source. You can run Excalidraw on your local device, but it is also integrated in many other tools. For example, there's a VS Code extension available, which is great for creating architecture diagrams or flowcharts in your code projects, but you can also use it in note-taking and project management tools like Obsidian and Notion, or just visit excalidraw.com and use it directly in your browser. I love that Excalidraw has so many possibilities to run it, so that's why it is definitely one of my absolute favorite tools, so let's check it out together. Before we do that though, I quickly want to show you another productivity tool that I recently discovered called Excalidraw, which is designed for busy professionals like us, and thanks Excalidraw for sponsoring this one. Excalidraw simplifies your project and time management by combining time blocking and integrations into one intuitive platform. You can organize your entire schedule and boost your productivity by just dragging and dropping tasks directly into your calendar. For example, I'm currently using this to plan my day whenever I'm working on tech projects or making YouTube videos to keep track of all the important things I have to do. What I personally like the most about Excalidraw is that you can seamlessly integrate it into all your favorite tools such as Gmail, Slack, Todoist, Notion, and many more. And it consolidates all your tasks from these multiple platforms into one centralized location for easy management. This is really great for somebody like me who's working on many different types of projects at the same time. What's also pretty cool in Excalidraw, it has an AI copilot that learns your habits and helps you auto-assign tasks to save time. And it is very flexible. You can customize many things or add morning rituals. For example, I just take a few minutes every single day to organize all the tasks that I want to work on. So if you would like to boost your productivity and organize your tasks and projects, then check out Excalidraw. It is a great tool. Of course, I'll leave you a link to it in the description box down below. Alright guys, so now let's get back to Excalidraw and start creating some cool drawings. We'll start with the basics and just use the free version on excalidraw.com. And yeah, don't worry before your eyes are taking too much damage. Let me quickly disable the light mode and enable dark mode. So here in the top left corner you have some general settings. Here you can switch the theme to system or dark, so that makes it a lot better. And then let's just explore the top bar in Excalidraw where you can pick some drawing tools. So in general, Excalidraw is super intuitive and straightforward. So I think I don't need to walk you through all of the tools in too much detail. I bet you all have used something like Paint before. So think of Excalidraw like Paint, but with superpowers. For example, one thing that I really like about Excalidraw is that it has shortcuts nearly everywhere. So you might have noticed these small numbers under the drawing tools on the top bar. So these are all shortcuts. So when you type in the numbers on your keyboard, they automatically select the tool. And this is how you can quickly switch between them. Just like you would expect when you just place some objects like rectangles or circles on the whiteboard, you can type in text captions that are automatically centered within the object, which is really great for creating simple flow or architecture diagrams. It's also pretty nice when you're drawing an element and you use arrows to point to it or from it. They automatically snap to this object. So when you move them around later, the arrows also move accordingly, as you might know it from other diagram tools like Visio or Draw.io. Of course, you can also use the pen tool to draw arrows or draw objects freely, which is great when you use Excalidraw on your tablet and draw physically with a pen. But I personally don't like this so much because if you draw freely, you can't really change the path afterwards. So you can resize the generated objects, but you can't change the arrow direction or something like that. And that's why I mostly use the basic Excalidraw tools like rectangles, arrows, and lines for my drawings, because I absolutely love this hand-drawn style look of a whiteboard, but I can also easily resize or change these elements later. You can not do this with a real hand-drawn graphic. Here, for example, you can see some of my creations, which I've used in previous videos. So I'm a little proud of them, to be honest, but of course I'm not a super talented graphic designer. But as you can see, Excalidraw makes it super easy to create these stunning graphics and quick visualizations. Even if you're a paint or graphic noob, you can certainly get these results. To make particular objects stand out or highlight certain elements in the drawing, you can change many other settings on the left sidebar that automatically appears when you select one or more objects. So here you can also change the stroke or the background colors, the stroke width, style, sloppiness, opacity, or whether the edges are round or not. And when you choose the color palettes, you can also see there are even shortcuts for all of these different colors, which makes Excalidraw super quick and straightforward to use. Another practical feature I bet not so many people know about is the align multiple objects. So, for example, if you draw a few different objects like rectangles or icons you just want to center, you can select them all and then use the alignment tools to center them horizontally or vertically. Or you can move them to left, you can move them to right, up or down. And of course, if you have multiple objects on different layers, you can also move them to the front or put them to the back. By the way, you can also group elements pretty easily in Excalidraw or use this super practical frame tool that lets you create resizable and movable frames that can contain multiple ungrouped or grouped elements as well. So this is really nice for creating separate pages, or you can organize different drawings in slides or something like that. I know if you have ever used other graphic tools before, you will know these things already, yeah? But I thought it might be worth just going through some of the basics. And also, Excalidraw has many unique features like the Excalidraw Library. So you will find this on the top right corner on excalidraw.com, and this opens up a new sidebar where you can browse the Excalidraw Library to add other hand-drawn icons to your whiteboard. This is a directory of public libraries that other people in the community have created before. You can sort them by new, updated, or total downloads, and here you can often find some nice architecture diagrams or components of software development stuff like these cloud service icons, Docker, and other technologies. But I have to admit, I personally don't like this Excalidraw library, at least as it is today, because it is really hard to find what you need, since many people, they don't share large sets of graphics and they don't really maintain them well. And there is no global directory where you can easily search for something specific that you want to use. So sometimes you can get lucky, for example, when you're searching for a Docker icon here. That is pretty popular, so many people have already created an icon for it. But if you need something less prominent, finding something good is nearly impossible. So what I instead like to do more than using the Excalidraw library is that I just download PNG files for icons with a transparent background that I mostly find on other icon libraries out there. Yeah, so you can easily drag and drop any image onto the Excalidraw whiteboard. For example, I've downloaded many vendor and technology icons onto my local disks. So if I ever need a Docker icon for my drawings or something else, I can just grab it from there and upload it to Excalidraw by drag and drop. This makes the document sometimes a bit slower to load. And what is also a bit strange, sometimes these icons change the colors a bit, especially when you're using dark mode. But I think it is still much better than using the Excalidraw library, in my opinion. So once you are happy with your Excalidraw whiteboard, you can save it, of course, as a .excalidraw file to your local disk, which contains all of the information to change the objects later. You can also share this as a read-only link with other people, or you can export it to Excalidraw Plus, but more about that in a few minutes. When you don't want to change these objects in your drawings later, you just want to embed your drawings into some other tool or a website, for example, then you can also export it as a PNG or SVG file. And furthermore, Excalidraw has also a nice live collaboration function, which is amazing if you want to work with other people or team members on one whiteboard to brainstorm ideas or visualize something. So then you can just create a new session and invite others to your Excalidraw project via a personalized link. Excalidraw says that these sessions are end-to-end encrypted and entirely private, so not even the server can see what you're drawing, and this is excellent for privacy. And what What is also great for presenting your whiteboards to others is the laser pointer feature. I really love this. You can find this at the last icon in the top bar. So I often use it to highlight certain elements when I'm explaining a more complex diagram that has many different objects, because Excalidraw unfortunately doesn't have something like an animation feature like you might know it from PowerPoint. That's why I often use the laser pointer feature in my video tutorials to show something. So yeah, you can see Excalidraw has some pretty cool features. By the way, they also recently added some new stuff to it that I quickly want to address, because they added some AI features to Excalidraw.com. Because it seems like every tool nowadays has to have at least one new AI-powered feature, no matter if it's useful or not. So with the text-to-diagram feature, you can describe the drawing you want the AI to create in natural language. Sometimes it generates some useful stuff, but honestly, I'm not a big fan of this. Yeah, I'm also not too excited about the other AI feature, wireframe to code. This tries to create some HTML code from your drawings, which again, in some cases might be useful, but mostly it is just some generic HTML stuff that needs a lot of manual rework afterwards. So I really can't see the real use case of these two AI features. Honestly, I think the Excalidraw team should invest their time into creating more practical features for the drawing functionalities. Yeah, for example, to improve the library icons or to add features that are already on the roadmap of Excalidraw Plus, like self-hosting. Why is this in the backlog? Yeah, it would be in my personal ranking top 1 priority. Or I would also love to see an animation feature for the presentation mode. By the way, this also brings me to the other topic that I quickly want to talk about before wrapping up, Excalidraw Plus. Because currently we just reviewed the basic features of the free and open source version you can just access on Excalidraw.com. But the team or the company behind Excalidraw also introduced a new cloud service that uses features of the free and open source version but extends it with other capabilities. So as an Excalidraw Plus user, for example, you can get cloud storage to easily manage and save your drawings and also organize them into collections. You can also invite other team members to work more collaboratively on this project, and it also has a comment function, which is great when you want other people to review your diagrams or drawings. And the most useful feature in Excalidraw Plus, at least in my opinion, and this is, by the way, the main reason why I'm using it, is that it has a presentation mode, which is similar to PowerPoint. And this is really great for my YouTube tutorials whenever you want to record or explain something and organize the drawings in separate slides. This is all located in the right sidebar in Excalidraw Plus under the presentation tab. So here you can create a new slide, which works in a similar way like the frame tool in the open source version of Excalidraw, but it also adds this new presentation mode to the slide. So when you click on Start Presentation, this automatically goes full screen, and that you can navigate through the slides just like in a PowerPoint presentation with remote control support. Here you can also use the amazing laser pointer feature to highlight or explain certain things, and this is definitely a super useful feature to me, at least for content creation here. But I'm also interested in many other features on the Excalidraw roadmap. I just mentioned the self-hosting, which is for whatever reason all the way down below. But anyways, they also have some other cool stuff on the roadmap, like the versioning feature or the public API, a new library marketplace. That could be very interesting. Of course, I know that for most people, the free and open source version is totally sufficient. Yeah, not everybody is a content creator and needs to present something, I know. But I can just tell you from my own experience, I love it just because of this presentation mode, and therefore it is super useful to me. But yeah, that's it about Excalidraw. Again, I absolutely love this tool. I bet you hear my excitement because I like this hand-drawn style so much. It is super simple, it is functional because you don't really need a fancy presentation or some fancy graphics to explain a technical topic to somebody. So it is really great for my YouTube videos. But feel free to tell me what do you think about it in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching. A big thanks goes out to all of the people supporting me on YouTube and Patreon. You guys are amazing, and of course I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Take care, bye bye.